Okay, lucky podcast 11 today. This is Georgina
And Mark.
and we thought everyone let's just go through the unseen, get it fresh in people's minds.
Yeah.
So it's
You can
memory
never
jogging.
hear it too many times,
You never
right?
can. So there's the question. Explore the significance of elements of social and political protest writing in the extract below. You must remember to make detailed, relevant comments on the way the author has shaped meanings. What do you...
What do I want to say? I
Yeah.
want to say cross it out and write what is the author protesting about and how do they make it powerful?
Why have we come up with the exact same words? Look.
Because we're teaching.
We're teaching the
we're
same.
teaching in each other's pockets for a decade.
Spec. So you've got to choose. In the other questions, they give you oppression and dominance. You've got to choose your own in this question and write about that.
Yeah. Although sometimes they almost tell you about it, don't they?
And
the blurb about the passage varies.
Yes.
But maybe that's more like they have to explain the content of it, but it might not. It might still not reach what the actual political significance of it is. Definitely, people who try too hard to show their answer in the question might fall apart, mightn't they? The significance of the element of like
don't write those words.
Like really do ignore their wording and just do what Georgina's put in
because their wording applies to all questions, and that will therefore be general. So we want specifically this one.
X protests against the treatment of blank through the characterization of just be really precise.
Or the cousin of which is explores the If you don't think it's as strong
the
as
presentation of Y allows the criticism of Z.
Yes.
Too many letters.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go back.
I think anyone who tries to separate social and political is totally artificial.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
What is the
they've
difference?
said that, and I think some centres have gone on about that, but no, just what ideas, what about the society? Yeah. So now, in order to get through this, I think we should just read it out, taking one each in the best way we can. And the purpose of this is just to get it back. You've got to have these ready. So what genre has the author chosen?
Conforming to genre expectations.
What meanings does the title have, if any? What
type of narrator is it?
Huge. How does it begin and end, which is structure?
Are there any surprise or contrasts?
You can say what you want about tone. An easier one is it very formal or is it informal? But there's loads of, refer you to our tone video.
That probably relates to like the dialogue.
Yeah, playful, severe.
Yeah.
Lots of other words
mocking.
for tone. Yeah, mocking.
Do you want to say anything about any of those?
What are the big three?
Big three. Setting, voice setting. I don't know what the third one should be. Structure. But what yeah.
But structure,
how does it end? By the end of the passage.
Yeah.
By the end of the passage, what has been achieved?
Yeah. How does it end? Where's the climax, if any, or anticlimax?
Yeah.
What surprised you? What were you led up to, and then it didn't happen?
When we say which genre has been chosen, do we mainly mean a play, a poem, or a novel, or do we mean other genres?
And I will put up a link to the genre of the unseen. Yeah,
there's a whole separate video.
There is. But it's great if you get a dystopia or a science fiction.
If they tell you a genre and you don't really know anything about it, just forget about it.
That's it.
Just treat it as neutral.
Yeah. All of these are to be forgotten in a way.
It's probably dystopia though, right?
Yeah,
it's probably going to be.
It has been. So, that's the second lot. So, are the characters types? What do they represent?
Consider the character's appearance or description, and what does that mean?
I feel the need to talk about, does the character develop? Because they've said it's not just about types. That's what the AQA said. Do they develop?
But that might be more in a set text than an unseen,
so,
right?
You?
Like
the chances of developing in one side.
That's more about Nora over her journey.
Yeah.
But you could say whether they're static or change and.
By the end of the passage,
it's
a surprise that, but it doesn't have to be there.
Maybe we could add characters' names to that second bullet point, actually. Appearance, name as part of the presentation.
the dialogue.
What does the setting mean?
About the character as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the setting being Christmas and
Time,
summer
not just
holidays.
place, yeah.
Midnight.
Sometimes mark schemes claim settings like atmosphere as well, but that feels a little amorphous.
Yeah. What's the level of tension?
Is there a setup, trigger, climax, or resolution?
And this used to be the whole of English A level. Symbols, images, similes, and metaphors, and they go nicely with the characters and with
it does
setting.
Link to everything else, doesn't it?
But within a bigger one.
And even structure, like starting with some description that might be symbolic, then moving to some action, then that kind of lark.
Hopefully that's woken it all up in your
14
head.
slides, we better hurry up.
Yeah, exactly. So then we should do the same thing with these. Yeah. So these will have come from the set texts and life. So oppression and domination.
The genre of the unseen and how that helps the protests.
Rebellion, how to gain power.
How the rich maintain power. We're just in the middle of recording a podcast.
2 minutes, can I ring?
Oh, yeah.
How the rich maintain power. What do they do?
Corruption. What is corruption?
Taking bribes.
Is it with money? Is that unfair? Is it like unfair use of power?
Yeah,
or...
subverting it for your own personal
hard to
gain.
Define, isn't it?
There isn't much of it in our set text. Conspiracy.
Collusion, and its half sister conformity.
The personal is political. The little being small reflecting the larger picture, being a microcosm.
Gender norms and how they control people.
Social class expectations, racist expectations, they all control people.
Using language to maintain power, and if you're not sure about that, listen to the podcast from yesterday. Please subscribe.
Yeah, thank you. Our tensions heightened and resolved in the text.
Ooh. That 10 is great, isn't it? Is it a failed rebellion? Is it the beginning of a rebellion?
Yeah.
Is it futile?
Yeah.
I think that's like A-star stuff.
So the next step people have to take is really, look at this. Really important.
Love that. Forget the lists.
Yeah, so we've woken them up in
Break them up.
And now we want you to forget them. Do you want to say a bit on why they should just forget them now?
Because we don't want it to be feature spotting. We don't want to be racing through a checklist. We don't want you to be like forcing things in that aren't actually there in the passage.
That's sadly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you've got to be mentally like in the exam.
You might get told off by an invigilator.
You might do, especially if you come up to C310 to do it. But anyway, in the exam, that's how you've got to read the article.
With the relaxed confidence of someone who has spent 2 years studying the genre.
Not making notes, just taking it in.
Yeah, sit on your hands if you have to.
Yeah, and the idea of leisurely is to just try and commune with that author and really...
What are they angry about?
Yeah,
what's got to them?
Experience it. Try to
What do they want you to feel?
Yeah, feel. Oh, anyway, once you've done that, you decide what the author's protesting about, and that's pretty much your introduction. So choose 2 or 3 elements of protest that you think, but it might not be one we've had. So when the censorship one came up, we hadn't particularly say censorship as a means of control. We hadn't particularly done that, but
it's less and less likely to be surprised, and the more papers we've got.
But it could be something completely new.
Yeah.
So.
And it might even feel like it might just be that there's one issue right in it, and that's fine. Issue. But like the way it's presented or the angle on it might still shift.
Yes.
So don't force in 2 or 3.
Yeah, go with what
if you think it's like one solid issue all the way, like say that.
And who knows, it might.
You might be right.
You might be right. So I think if you just can't think of anything,
why
did the examiner put this on here? But you might not.
And then why did they start and end it?
Where they did, And then, if that doesn't work, is it about powerful people or powerless people? Does that give you a way in or a kind of mix? Or who are you focusing on?
Yeah.
Those are just.
I suppose it almost always, it's like often a confrontation between powerful and powerless, but it isn't always. It might be like behind the scenes, the mechanisms of power, or it might just be victims living their miserable lives.
Yeah. That could give you a way in. So patiently get the higher level. I can't read this. Read the passage with a fine tooth comb. This is where you'll really pick up marks. Write the central point of each arc chunk in the margin, alongside it the methods you'd like to write about in that chunk, and really spend a good 10 to 15 minutes doing it. That's quite hard, isn't it?
Yeah, because there will be people. There will be people who don't want to follow this advice, and they might be next to you on the next aisle, scribbling
Putting
away
you
and
off.
writing.
Yeah, but
and
you are getting the higher level.
Can I had
Sorry.
another idea which I don't know if you like or not, but if it helps, you could put all of the notes about method on one side and all of the political ideas on the right, or
and try to marry them up.
So if you break it into a chunk, you could write on the left hand side,
all of it.
This is what they're trying to protest, and on the right hand side, it's through the character. And if it helps, some people it might help to organise their brain.
That's it. So then actually make sure you've got the arc that you're going to write and integrate your political ideas.
The arc is probably easier on this than Shakespeare, isn't it? Because it's less weighed down by the listing of things before and after. It really is just what's the structure of the passage and what does it do?
What's being focused on? Does it break to conversation? That sort of thing. So.
Look at him go.
Yes. That takes 20 or 25 minutes.
I look quite slim there.
And then, you look great. Then write like the clap. That's you writing like the clappers. If only I could have got steam coming out of your pen.
Yeah.
So
Maya Benson's artwork on the shelf there. Just shout out.
Very nice. And it's a bit. Thinking Fast and Slow was a big seller, a book, and you've got to think really slowly to get full marks. You've got to think really slowly for about 20 to 25 minutes,
really
and
fast.
then you're ready to go and you write quickly.
Yeah.
And make sure you get the end of that. So you'll know what your political points are. You'll get that arc smashed down, and then you're on to points and methods. Yeah.
I think people that rush are likely to get to the end of the answer and just have a slightly different opinion of the whole passage than they started with. And it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not ideal.
You do see it develop people's ideas, but the worst thing is to then just think, I'll write it all again in sort of different ways.
The crossing out. Just commit.
Yeah.
No one's there to ask or tell you otherwise. No one's there to correct or say you're wrong. Just go with it and back yourself.
Good luck, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.